for the ultra-rich to cheat on their taxes. How the heck could that be their highest priority? It's only when the hard right governs the Republican caucus. All friends of Israel should say, look,
$1 trillion swing. President Obama comes in, first year, he reduces the deficit, which is what contributes to national debt, by $700 billion.
Our stimulus check is going to be sent out immediately. Well, there has been new released information on $2,000 stimulus checks. The lawmakers are now negotiating on $100 stimulus payments. The gas prices are soaring nationwide, and AAA reports that the national average cost of a gallon of gas hit $5.16 as of June 14th. This is the all-time record high price, and since many people cannot eliminate gasoline usage or even significantly cut down their fuel costs, these surging prices have hit hard. As a result, lawmakers are naturally considering ways to provide relief, including potentially sending out another stimulus payment. Proposals to help the public cope with gas prices exist at the federal level as well as in some states. One plan put forth on the federal level, for example, is called the Gas Rebate Act of 2022. It would provide a monthly rebate during any month when the national average cost of gas is $4 or more. The rebate would last to the end of 2022 and would total $100 per adult and per dependent for single filers earning less than $75,000 or joint filers earning less than $150,000. It would phase out at higher income levels, with single filers getting no rebate once their income topped $80,000. And married joint filers losing the rebate with an income of $160,000 or higher. Now, state plans exist in certain locations because in early June, for example, North Carolina Democrats put forth a plan to send money to residents via check or debit card. The money would come in the form of a $200 rebate to North Carolina residents and would be available by October 1st to anyone who is 18 or over. Now, this is a bit different from the past stimulus checks that have come from the federal government because those were able to be deposited into people's bank accounts if they provided the information, and while these payments would come in the form of a debit card or check only. So the child tax credit in 2022 will return to conditions offered by the IRS before the American Rescue Plan expanded it. The amount of the credit is smaller, and eligibility is more restricted than last year. Under the rules which were established through the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. These changes will be in effect through the 2025 fiscal year.
Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the...
It would extend federal benefits set to expire in just a week. ABC Action News reporter McKenna King tells us what's happening with that bill right now.
March 14th, that currently marks the end of the federal pandemic unemployment compensation unless Congress passes that third stimulus bill and gets the president's signature by the end of the week. Hard to believe at this time last year, Americans had about a week of normalcy left before things started shutting down.
There is a new fourth stimulus check. New important bills have been proposed. Under this, Americans may be eligible to receive $45,000 at a certain age. Some governors are also pushing to approve new $2,000 payments for the low income. And now, newly introduced legislation could provide some Americans with up to $45,000 by the time they turn a certain age. Early this month, the Democratic senator and representatives have announced they plan to reintroduce the American Rescue Plan Opportunity Accounts Act. In a statement, Booker's office said that Senators Booker and Representative Ayanna Pressley have reintroduced the American Opportunity Accounts Act. This is legislation that will create a federally funded savings account for every child in order to make sure that economic opportunity is a birthright for everybody. The reintroduction of this bill comes as the inflation rate has decreased since the high of 9.1% back in June. However, the current annual inflation rate is higher than 2% target rate outlined by the Federal Reserve. Now, under this bill, a family of four with an income of less than $25,000 will receive the federally funded account and would reach $46,000 by the time the child turned 18. For a family of four with an income of less than $56,475, the account is estimated to reach $12,000 by the time the person turns 18. The senator has told Newsweek that Americans today are having a harder time accessing homeownership, higher education, and a secure retirement than their parents did just a generation before them. This bill would fix the broken tax code by providing every American child with a startup capital for their life, and helping to drive down the wealth inequality that holds American families back from their full potential. The Pennsylvania governor has also continued to push for $2,000 relief checks to help every resident with prices at the grocery store and gas pump. The governor has called on the state's General Assembly to pass his Pennsylvania Opportunity Program. So we have a ton of news to go over in today's fourth stimulus check update. Now on this channel, I always do my very best in providing you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. So it means a lot to me, folks, if you can subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family. Now folks, this is what Speaker Pelosi is saying about our stimulus payments. By the way, what are your thoughts on Nancy Pelosi? Is she doing her best part in helping out the American people? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now the House delayed a planned vote to advance two key proposals that make up President Biden's economic agenda.
Saying you know of such and such a group of people are trying to get out, they're on a bus, they're moving from other people, and this is their location. And there have been occasions when our military has contacted their military counterparts in the Taliban and said, this, for example, this bus is coming through.
Centrist Democrats have pushed Speaker Pelosi to vote on the Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill before the House approves a $3.5 trillion budget resolution. The House scrapped and planned a vote to advance two key economic proposals as centrist Democrats and party leaders failed to break a stalemate over how to proceed with President Biden's economic agenda. President Biden's economic agenda, folks, should include a fourth stimulus check. He already sent out the third stimulus payments, and now he must do two things: increase the Social Security benefits to help out our seniors, and pass out more stimulus payments.
101 years ago, after fighting, marching, struggling, starving, being starved, women gained the right to vote, won the right to vote. The newspapers at the time said women given the right to vote. That could not have been further from the truth.
Now Biden's domestic goals, everybody, is of course to have the Democrats remain in Congress next year for the midterms. Pelosi has pushed to pass a $1 trillion bipartisan bill and her party's separate $3.5 trillion spending plan at the same time. But this process could take weeks or even months, as the House needs to find a way to join this, as the House needs to join the Senate in passing a budget resolution before lawmakers write a final proposal. Folks, Pelosi must get together with the Democrats as well as the Republicans in order for the stimulus checks to be sent out.
Came up with a brilliant idea. And the brilliant idea was to go forward with what is called a chain CPI, which is a fancy term for cutting costs.
The program sets restrictions on both net and gross monthly income broken down to household size. But the barrier to acquiring food aid in Michigan has been lowered. It is Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a bipartisan bill removing the asset test as a requirement to receive SNAP benefits.